So Vercel just got popped. This has been the most tea I have seen for a single cybersecurity breach. But besides the actual drama, the attack chain here is genuinely amazing. All of this started because of the biggest threat actor I know on this planet, Roblox. Oh, and to all the vibe coders who became 10x engineers over the last 12 months, welcome. Welcome to your first breach. Welcome to the internet. Next.js and Vercel have not had a fun year from a security vulnerability perspective. Late last year, they were hit with React to Shell. Now, that was not fun for anyone. And they've also had an auth bypass in their middleware. And now they're having to face shiny hunters on breach farms demanding a ransom of $2 million or else they'll leak access keys and source code, apparently. I found this tweet from the CEO of Vercel talking about the ongoing incident investigation. So a Vercel employee got compromised by the breach of an AI platform customer called Context.ai that he was using. The details are being fully investigated. I like how the blame has been shifted instantly to this employee and Context.ai. I love it. Through a series of maneuvers that escalated from the colleague's compromised Vercel Google Workspace account, the attacker got further access to Vercel environments. Attacking group is highly sophisticated and they seem to be accelerated by AI. Yes, peak signs of sophistication. AI! And apparently they've reached out to a bunch of the customers that have been impacted, and the impact here for customers is that their environment variables may have been leaked. The security bulletin outlines the impact as a limited subset of customers whose Vercel credentials were compromised. They're reiterating that this really only impacts environment variables that have not been marked as sensitive. It doesn't give us much more than what the tweet from the CEO said. However, in the indicators of compromise section, our investigation has revealed that the incident originated from a small third-party AI tool. Bro, dude. Look, calling them a small third-party AI was so unnecessary. That is, wow. This looks like just any other AI solution to me. I'm sure it's just slapping an LLM on top of your data sources and you're doing all sorts of interesting stuff. Now, this small third-party AI solution company slaps back with their own security bulletin. Same day, by the way. Last month, we identified and stopped a security incident involving unauthorized access to our AI environment. However, today, based on information provided by Vercel, the unauthorized actor could have compromised OAuth tokens for some of their consumer uses. It says, we also learned that the unauthorized actor appears to have compromised the OAuth token to access Vercel's Google Workspace. So already I have a huge question. Why does Context AI have OAuth tokens for Vercel's Google Workspace? I get that it could have had the employee's Google Workspace, but why Vercel's Google Workspace? Well, in the next sentence, they say, Vercel is not a Context customer. However, it appears at least one Vercel employee signed up for the AI Office Suite using their Vercel Enterprise account. Shade. They're throwing shade. Context AI is not taking anything. And they go, and then they granted allow permissions. What are they doing being this petty online? Vercel's internal OAuth configurations appear to have allowed this action to grant these broad permissions in Vercel's Enterprise Google Workspace. I'm done. Practice. Stop. This is just Vercel and Context just pointing at each other now. Vercel is straight up calling out Context AI with this last section as well. Context AI just straight up. Vercel allowed this to happen. Now, I'm not taking sides here, especially because we don't know much about what happened. And the truth is, this is no one's fault. If you had to pinpoint blame on anyone, it has to be Roblox. Now, this is what we know so far. We have Context AI, all right, and Vercel. Adios. That's legible. Worked out. Context AI security update confirms that there was a compromise at the AWS environment level, which led to some tokens or credentials being compromised for the actual Google Workspace integration OAuth app. So we'll do G Workspace OAuth. Nice. And this workspace was granted full permissions to some dude's enterprise workspace account on Google. Now, how an attacker went from this Google Workspace environment to the production environment for Vercel, I don't know. No one knows. But what we know is that these had some environment variables. Sure, great. Now this story almost makes sense, but it doesn't completely make sense. And in comes Info Stealers by Hudson Rock. I don't know how they did it, but they seem to have all the receipts on how Context AI got popped in the first place. The TLDR is, in February 2026, llama stealer infection, a Context AI employee with sensitive access privileges was compromised. And Hudson Rock did a deep dive on the logs from this person's machine, which I assume they purchased off of the dark web. And apparently the logs indicate the user was actively searching for and downloading game exploits, specifically Roblox auto farm scripts. On your company machine though? How is this on Context AI's machine? You know what? Hey, we look and we don't judge. And apparently a month before this whole incident, they had a single info stealer infection for a single employee. From that whole llama info stealer campaign, we've got a bunch of Context AI accounts, which were apparently compromised for that one single user. And this user, based on the logs, was apparently part of the Context Inc. team on Vercel and had recently hit all of these endpoints, according to their Brave browser history. Now, these environment variables endpoint that you're looking at is where Context AI would be storing a lot of really important, sensitive information. Now, the same user also had the exact same client ID, Google Workspace OAuth in their autofill history. However, I don't know if that means much because, I mean, that's working on Google OAuth application, right? So, I don't know. So what we think happened is Roblox, info stealer, which is likely how the AWS environment was probably compromised. But obviously, this whole section has been conveniently left out by Context AI in their security update. Now, I think it's easy to say that, oh, wow, 2 big companies got brought down by 2 individual employees. Why do companies not have controls in place to prevent the employees from doing exactly what they just did? Things like this make you realize that it's important. Blaming other people is easy. But at some point, you're going to have to sit down and go, okay, what are all these gaps? How are we allowing our to do yada yada? How can we get better? It's not an individual problem. It's more of a systemic thing at this point. And I think hopefully both of these companies will learn from what's happened and come back stronger and hopefully not be hacked by Roblox next time.